very much. Mr. Prakash Ramada, Minister of Legal Affairs and Justice and the political leader of this great political movement called the Congress of the People. And one of the leaders of this high performance and productive nation-building People's Partnership Government. Chairman and executive members of the COP and COP ministers, my fellow speakers at the table, members of this wonderful constituency, members of the media, quote me right. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Now, my name is Garth Christopher, as if you didn't know it. And I am from the great community of Mova. Now, let me tell you something. You should love your community. And especially when you're born in that community. And ladies and gentlemen, you should do your best to leave it better than the way you met it. Now, I guarantee you that if you truly love your community, ladies and gentlemen, you will never vote for the PNM. No, I'm serious. And I really want to I want you to ensure that on Monday, September 7th, 2015, that Dr. Keith Rowley, Camille Robinson Regis, Dr. Keith Rowley, the man who I don't know if he takes care of all of his children. I don't know how family-oriented he is. You know, one time he has 2 children, and next thing, a 45-year-old fella pop up. So, and Miss Camille Robinson Regis, now we have to listen to these people well. That's the Rats lady. When Dr. Rowley and they voted for what I call the greedy bills. You remember the greedy bills? That's the bill, more money for them. So they voted for the greedy bills. And the population came out and said, here what? I mean, come on, man. You know, that's all you could do right now. Vote for more money for yourself. You know what Camille Robinson Regis said? She said, the rats come out the holes. The rats come out the holes. Now, these people have a way of insulting people. Especially thinking-oriented people. People for whom reasoning are part of their daily operations. Try to insult them. I listened to them the other night. And they're insulting the people who are undecided. They're literally insulting the people. Do you listen to them? You need to listen to them, you know. Yes. To know the deception that they are peddling. So, Camille Robinson Regis, this rat woman, Fitzgerald Hines. Jesus, Lord have mercy. Now, this gentleman misrepresented or malrepresented my constituency of Laventilly Smover for 12 years. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, there is nothing the fella can say that he did that impacted the lives of the members of his community. Let me tell you something. I don't deal with idle talk, no. I'm serious. 12 years. You represented a community, and there's nothing we can touch that you have done. And now these fellas are the leadership of the PNM, you know. If you put God out of your thoughts and go and vote for the PNM, we're going backwards, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very serious. To those of you who are listening to us on air, this is a very serious issue. Listen, the government you vote for is very important to how your nation runs and how your community runs, how the education system functions, how the social system and the economy functions. Don't trust them. They spent all their time trying to say why you shouldn't trust the partnership and why you shouldn't trust Anand Ram Logan and you shouldn't trust Kamala and you shouldn't trust this one and you can't trust Prakash. But can you trust? Well, they didn't say that about Prakash. But can you trust the PNM? No. Let me tell you why. One of their deputy political leaders, a very heavy one. All right? Very wrong and plump and nice and heavy. 12 days before the 2010 general elections, decided to sign off and make sure that some fellas get some checks, hefty checks. One was for $375,000 and one was for $200,000. Now, I'm not talking about the 2.3 million that some of our associates got for building a ghost community center in John Johnnet. Now they're talking about corruption and corruption. I hear Dr. Rowley talking about this unsupervised period of time that's between the prorogation of Parliament or the dissolving of the Parliament and the general elections. He said this long 3-month period, this unsupervised period, you got to watch them. But ladies and gentlemen, was in this said unsupervised period, 12 days before the general elections of 2010. The lady wrote checks for whom? No, her boyfriend of 20 years. Well, we say your man, eh? But your boyfriend of 20 years and your close associate, the man who took over for you in a credit union, that man is a board member. And you know what? Her leader had all that information and still has that information and has done nothing. You know what he said? He said the Integrity Commission cleared the lady. That's what he said. But ladies and gentlemen, don't trust them. Do not trust them. They have to remain in the opposition if we want our country to move forward. Now, we also have, ladies and gentlemen, to do that because, you know why? We have to keep them out. You know why? Because Dr. Keith Rowley is not a uniter. He's a divider. Dr. Keith Rowley, ladies and gentlemen, cannot even unite his own party. The guy has 12 MPs. And he couldn't unite them, let alone unite Trinidad and Tobago. You hear the kinds of things some of his supporters who he endorsed about Hindu women. Have you heard that? No, this is a guy who endorsed these people. He went on their programs. He never came on my program because he's scared. He never came. I've invited him. Never come. No PNMN coming on my radio program on Sunday morning. No borders. All I know it, right? All must listen. They listen to a good program now, man. On Power 102, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. I must put in that plug, eh? Ladies and gentlemen, I listened to Dr. Keith Rowley in Belmont, Pigot's Corner. You all heard him? When he talked about Mr. Manning and what he did. No, he suggested that he felt a spirit blow. This is a serious thing, you know. In some countries, you catch them and burn them. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a very serious thing. And I want to talk to the Christian population of Trinidad and Tobago. All right? I want to talk to them. I want to be very careful too, because we have Christian people in our midst and pastors. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of the Christian people in Trinidad and Tobago, now I deal with it straight. You know, I deal with no borders. Some of the Christian people in Trinidad and Tobago say that they do not vote and they will not support a Hindu government because they pray to gods, foreign gods with 4 and 6 hands. And you know what? That is your right. If you believe so, fine. I cool with that. This is a country where every creed, race, religion, everybody finds an equal place. All right? So I quite cool with that. But I want you to tell me something, and I want you to pray before you go and vote. Ask God if it is wrong to vote for people who pray and worship foreign gods. Ask God if it is right to vote for a man who confessed that he did obia. I want you to ask God that and tell me what he tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. Now, let us compare that kind of disrespect that Dr. Rowley has dished out to his predecessor. The same man who he walked over on, you know what he did? He dissolved the poor fellow, he dissolved the man vision 2020 and make it his vision 2030. I don't know. Does it? Now, this guy has no vision. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very serious, you know. Dr. Keith Rowley and the PNM really doesn't have a vision for this country. You listen to the things they talk on their platform. All right, I would leave that. I would leave that alone for the political leader and they to deal with. But I want to just show you the difference. Let's compare them. This man disrespects his predecessor. I have heard Mr. Basdio Pandey said all kinds of things about Miss Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Have you ever heard Miss Kamala Prasad Bisesa disrespected Mr. Pandey? That is leader. Have you ever heard the political leader of the Congress of the People disrespected Mr. Winston Dukaran? That is leader. Now, well, we know we can't trust them with the treasury at all. Can't trust them. Now, some people feel that Lande is over. It doesn't have to be over. I read the Lande report, you know. And let me tell you something, Ladies and gentlemen, bricks, lumber, all kinds of things. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something, were really transported, you know, from the Scarborough hospital site to the fella project, you know. Yeah, well, his wife's. All right? To his wife's project. And what was strange to me was this. A fella called Warner Constructions. Oh, God. A fella called Warner Constructions got a job to do this project. And this small fella called Warner Construction get this small job to do this project. He had a big fella. And give him a subcontract, you know. I don't know what part of the country we just do that. I know the bigger fella subcontracts to the smaller one. Only must read it. Don't take my word for it. Read it, but believe what I say. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Keith Rowley says things to the public that are not true. And he makes too many reckless allegations against innocent people. And as a result of this, ladies and gentlemen, it is reasonable to conclude. I mean, I know COP, excuse me, is a kind of a real nice, decent party. But to me, it's easy to conclude that these fellas are liars. And I'll give you some simple reasons. The president gave him, Dr. Rowley the other day said that the president gave him a few hours. You know the man had 48 hours, by 2 days. You know, he had to come and apologize, right? What do you call that? Untruth? A lie or something like that? All right. You know what this guy also said? He said that the chairman of the Integrity Commission's name was on the letterhead that Israel Khan sent to the Integrity Commission when he complained about the email gate scandal, as they so call it. And here what, boys, best all let's stop it. He said the name of the chairman was on it. And it's not true. The name of the chairman appeared in 2013, not in 2015. What do you call that? Ladies and gentlemen, now, I need to go now. I have some other things to say, but I hope I get another opportunity. Now, they talk about the crime situation in this country. Let me tell you something. The crime situation is very serious. We must make no joke about that. In our communities, Avenel, we know that. And many of you too. I'm not just in our communities. All right? The crime situation is very serious, and we are not playing with it. And the People's Partnership Government is doing what it can. But let me tell you something. They have been peddling a lie. The same way they're peddling a lie about this government spent $400 billion. That's not true. It is just not true. This government has not even spent, or the most this government would have spent, let me say, is about $325 billion in the 5 years. But you know what? You know how long this since about 2 years, since about 3 years now, they're saying the government spent $400 billion. These are not true, but that is what they live on. Let's deal with the crime situation, and are done. Now, if we honestly examine the murder rate, now in 2010, the murder rate was 485. Right? Now, it was 485 in 2010. It reduced to 354 murders in 2011. Of course, that is because of the state of emergency. You remember the state of emergency? So we could understand that, all right? So that was a 131 less murders in 2011. Now, in 2012, there was a slight increase of 383. But you know what? It was still 102 less than 2010. In 2013, it rose to 407. Still 78 less than the figures of 2010, which was 485. And in 2014, we documented 403 murders, still 82 less murders than in 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, I say here tonight, without any apology, based on statistics, and it's factual, that since this government, the People's Partnership Government, came into power, there has been no less than 78 murders every single year. That's facts. Media, you could check it. Same way, how I talked to Dr. Kublal Singh and I said, you said power to Wayne. The first time he broke his fast, he said power to Wayne. I confronted him and I said, you said power to Wayne. He said, no, I have the clip and I played it. He did say power to Wayne. If I tell you something, believe what I tell you. Under this People's Partnership Government, ladies and gentlemen, there has been no less than 78 less murders annually. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much because I must go now, and I see you next time.